Walk into a McDonald's and the business looks obvious. Burgers, fries, drinks, and a menu that somehow turns the same familiar ingredients into a surprisingly long list of choices. But the numbers tell a stranger story. In 2025, McDonald's Corporation collected about $10.4 billion in rent from franchised restaurants. That was more than the $9.7 billion in sales recorded by all the restaurants the company operated itself. And rent was only one part. Add royalties and initial fees, and franchised restaurants brought McDonald's about $16.5 billion. So yes, the Big Mac matters. But the person making it and the company collecting the money are often playing two very different games. To understand why, start with one surprising number. At the end of 2025, there were 45,356 McDonald's restaurants around the world. About 95% of them were franchised. That means most McDonald's restaurants are not run day-to-day by McDonald's Corporation. They are run by independent business owners called franchisees. The franchisee hires the workers, orders supplies, pays wages, manages the dinner rush, and discovers exactly how angry a person can become over one missing packet of ketchup. In return, the franchisee gets something extremely valuable: the McDonald's name, its products, suppliers, marketing, training, technology, and a detailed operating system built over decades. But that system is not free. In a conventional McDonald's franchise, the operator usually pays an initial fee, ongoing royalties, and rent. The royalties are linked to restaurant sales. The rent can include a minimum payment and an extra amount linked to sales. Now imagine a franchised restaurant rings up $100 at the counter. McDonald's Corporation does not record the full $100 as its own revenue. The local franchise business records the sale. It must use that money to pay for food, workers, electricity, taxes, and every other cost of running the restaurant. McDonald's Corporation records its smaller share, mainly the royalty and, in many conventional franchises, the rent. This difference is easy to miss because every restaurant has the same arches. To the customer, it all looks like one company. On the financial statements, it is a very different story. In 2025, franchise McDonald's restaurants generated almost $129.7 billion in sales. McDonald's Corporation did not record that full amount as revenue. Instead, it recorded about $16.5 billion in revenue from those franchise restaurants. That included about $10.4 billion in rent, $6 billion in royalties, and a much smaller amount in initial fees. Now compare that with restaurants McDonald's operated itself. Those restaurants recorded about $9.7 billion in sales. The customer buys a burger. The franchisee runs the restaurant. McDonald's sells the system. And this is where the land becomes important. Under a conventional franchise arrangement, McDonald's generally owns the restaurant property or secures a long-term lease on the land and building. The franchisee then pays for items such as equipment, signs, seating, and decor, and operates the location. At the end of 2025, in the markets included directly in McDonald's financial accounts, the company owned about 56% of the land and about 80% of the buildings used by its restaurants. Most franchise agreements run for around 20 years. At the end of a conventional agreement, McDonald's usually keeps control of the underlying property. It can renew with the same operator, choose a different operator, or close the restaurant. That control may be even more valuable than the rent. A successful restaurant depends heavily on its location. A corner near a highway exit, shopping center, or busy commuter route can keep producing sales for decades. By controlling the site, McDonald's controls who gets to operate under the arches at that address. It also gives the company a second contract with the franchisee. One contract covers the brand and operating system. The other covers the place where the business operates. This idea helped change McDonald's history. The McDonald brothers created their fast and simple restaurant system in California. Ray Kroc saw it in 1954 and began building a larger franchise network. But rapid growth needed a more reliable financial model. In 1956, McDonald's created Franchise Realty Corporation. Harry Sonneborn, an early McDonald's executive, helped shape the idea of acquiring or leasing restaurant sites and then renting them to franchisees. Instead of depending only on a small share of burger sales, McDonald's could collect regular property payments as the network expanded. The approach also gave the company more control over its locations and operators. The burgers brought people through the door. The property helped hold the system together. There is one important correction, however. McDonald's does not own every restaurant site in the world. Some restaurants use a different model called a developmental license. In those arrangements, the local licensee usually provides the capital, develops the restaurants, and handles the real estate. McDonald's mainly receives royalties and initial fees. So the internet slogan that McDonald's is simply a real estate company is catchy, but incomplete. The company is better understood as a franchise platform with a powerful real estate layer. Why would an independent owner accept this arrangement? Because opening a random burger shop and opening a McDonald's are not the same bet. A franchisee receives a famous brand, national advertising, established suppliers, product development, training, technology, and customers. The operator gives up part of the revenue and some freedom. In exchange, the operator gets a business system that would be extremely difficult to build alone. McDonald's also benefits from having local owners invest their own money and attention. The franchisee handles the staff, local pricing decisions, and daily operations. McDonald's can expand the network without directly operating every kitchen. The arrangement does not remove all risk from McDonald's. Royalties and part of its rent depend on restaurant sales. If customers stop coming, both sides feel it. The brand still needs food people want at prices they will pay. And McDonald's keeps a small number of company-operated restaurants for a reason. They give the company real operating experience. New products, prices, training methods, and restaurant systems can be tested before they spread more widely. So McDonald's has not escaped the burger business. It has moved one level above most of it. The food brings in the customer, the franchisee runs the store. The brand creates trust, the property creates control. And rent plus royalties turn millions of small orders into a steady corporate income stream. That is why the most important thing McDonald's sells may not be a Big Mac. To customers, it sells food. To franchisees, it sells the right to operate an entire money-making system, often inside a building McDonald's still controls. The next time you pass the Golden Arches, look beyond the menu. You may be looking at a restaurant, but McDonald's is also looking at a tenant, a contract, and 20 years of future payments. Would you rather own the restaurant or the land underneath it? Tell us in the comments. And for another hidden system behind an everyday purchase, watch our video on why airlines sell the same flight at 10 different prices.